What's up, everybody? So I just got out of the surf. You can see the water's like super clean. You can see the sandbars, and we've been really blessed. We've had clean water probably like for weeks and weeks. And every once in a while, you get a spot where you might run into some little sandy spots. But you can see it's just no waves at all. Just right here, right at the little bit of the break where the water hits. And Galveston, Freeport, Surfside has really been lucky to clean it up. You can see this first, the second, and then the third sandbar. And what you want to do, so what I get asked a lot, and people ask me a lot, is like, where do you fish? Where do you go? I want a beach access that I can drive onto. I have a Jeep Gladiator, so I do have four-wheel drive, so I'm not worried about if I can drive on the sand or not. I'm not worried about how sandy it is or how fluffy the sand is. So for me, I want to drive up to a spot. So I can walk in. I want to get my truck close. If you go down, I'm in Freeport, but if you go further down to Surfside, you can't pull up. You can't pull up to the water edge like this. You have to park across the way over there. See, like the little grass is. You have to park over there. And Galveston has a bunch of spots where you can't pull up at all, and where you can, it's real restricted, real tight. I do like wade fishing in Galveston. I do like wade fishing the surf on the west end over there. But today, I came out over here. But, I just pick a spot. I just really do. I just pick a spot. The key is to stand on the sandbar and cast towards the next sandbar. In the middle of both sandbars, there's a cut. Sometimes right where it starts going down, the fish can be that close. The predator fish can be that close. If you see bait, you want to see bait. The cleaner the water, the better. So whether you're throwing live shrimp, live croaker, or you're throwing some lures, you do want to fish that gut. And I just fan cast a lot. I'll start fishing, so there's sandbars right here. So I'll start fishing close at an angle, and then I'll just fan cast all the way. And then I'll cast again, and I'll fan cast all the way. And kind of try to just dial in the fish and kind of see where they're at. Sometimes they might, like I said, they might be real close. Sometimes they might be further out. Rule of thumb is that overnight, a lot of the bait come in close to the surf. So rule of thumb, the closer you can find the bait, probably the closer the predator fish are, because they'll chase them in. As the day goes on, I will sometimes go to the third sandbar, but for the most part, I just kind of stick to the first and the second one and just fish the gut. You go to the third sandbar, you start running into some bigger fish. You can run into some big sharks. So if you're taking a surf rod and you want to walk it out, well, I would walk it out to the third sandbar, cast as far as I can with my surf rod, then walk my rod back in and put it down on the rod holder. But yeah, there's no secrets, man. You got to get here at sunrise, and two, you got to have confidence. You got to come sunrise, right before sunrise, start casting, start putting your lures to work, start putting your shrimp to work, start putting your live croaker to work, mullet, whatever you're doing. Like a case like today, there's a ton of bait, so I could have walked out here with a cast net and caught bait and thrown it. But I stopped at Bait Daddy's. Bait Daddy's got some great bait. So stopped at Bait Daddy's and picked up some live shrimp from them this morning. I will say that if you are fishing with like croaker, just pop it. Sometimes the croaker will kind of go down. If you're fishing off the bottom, the croaker will kind of go down, and you do want to wake them up a little bit. If you're fishing with croaker on bottom, you want to hook them around between the anal fin and the tail, so it can swim up. And if you're fishing with croaker on the cork, whether you want to hook them through the top, around the top of the head, the little meaty part up there, and that way it can swim down. When I fish with live shrimp, typically I like to go through the head, because most of your predator fish are going to eat their bait head first, so I will go through the head. Unless it's like a huge colossal shrimp, then I'll hook it through the tail. And sometimes it's different, sometimes I'll start hooking through the tail if they're short biting. You always have to be willing to change it up. When I'm fishing for trout, I like to use a Kell hook, but there's nothing wrong with the octopus hook. There's nothing wrong with a circle hook. When you are just like throwing bait out there and letting it soak, circle hook is kind of the go-to, because the fish kind of hook themselves. But trout, yeah, I go with Kell hook out here in the surf. Size 2 Kell hook, I'll go between I typically go with like 30-pound leader line just because you will run into sharks, so I don't want the line to get frayed up too much. But yeah, I just come out here, have a good time, fish between the guts, fish on the sandbar, find a place, pull your car into, have a good time, and hook up. But if you got any questions, leave them in a comment below. Until next time, hope you catch me. Hook it up. But we are out. We are out of here.